the CFL broke out about the new TV deal that they struck with Rogers and DAZN and YouTube and all that stuff. Now, originally, Phil, I was going to click on to an article, the direct press release from the CFL, but I found another one from this site called CFL News Hub that I thought was really interesting. I'm going to click that on right now.
Yeah.
And let's see. Okay. This article, it came out on the 31st. It was credited to Jonathan Klink. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm just going to go through highlights. His headline says, the CFL's record media deal has many fans furious, and it's not about the money. And first paragraph, he goes into what the deal had said. Basically, it's $500 million over 6 years with Bell Media / TSN, DAZN, and YouTube. And he said it's a massive jump from the previous deal that was paying roughly $50 million annually with just TSN. So said they're happy about. So the league, they're kind of happy about that, but they said the fans aren't. They said they're furious as the CFL has become less accessible to Canadians as the subscription service was brought into the fold. The anger has more to it than the dollars. And he said subscription fatigue is strong in 2026. Many fans are upset about the Saturday night CFL game rights for 21 seasons and 2 playoff games. Basically, folks, what that is, it's DAZN is pulling an Amazon Prime where with the NFL they had the Thursday night game. They're doing the same thing with the Saturday night games. So they have exclusive, and if you get other things on DAZN, it's like these other streaming apps I've built. If you enjoy Netflix, you like the movies, you get like Stranger Things or Wednesday and then watch WWE Raw, that's fine. But if you only like one thing, it's like you can get like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 apps if you're cord cutting, and add to that whatever you use for your internet provider. You're talking about $150, $200, $300 a month, as much as you would for cable or stuff. So I can understand why people are upset about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I see both ways, and I understand, because that's the reason I got Fire Stick cable right now, because I don't want to pay $300 and streaming platforms, stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So, I understand what the fans is angry about, but then again, I understand what the league thing about, because I don't know, this money is one, maybe have a possibility of a expansion team in Canada with the money revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Could be 2, could be having more eyeballs they can watch, equal more revenue, more salary cap, more like, hey, maybe Nathan Ward might get his big money, or who's the next big Canadian star, and I can see it both ways, but as a fan, I understand. I don't want to pay $30 to watch one thing. Even though DAZN, I like boxing,
mm-hmm.
I'll probably get it because of that, but a lot of people don't like boxing, a lot of people don't like other things, but people ain't going to pay $30 for one content from one night.
Right, yeah. Especially for one game. I mean, not even like the Grey Cup, you know what I mean? It's just...
No.
But,
And I understand it's a streaming world, and everyone's going to go streaming.
Right.
And now, if they would have just made the Saturday night games on YouTube, then that's different. But DAZN, that's what can you get with DAZN? You get boxing, and you might get soccer here and there.
I think AEW did one of their last pay-per-views on there, didn't they?
What, DAZN?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was HBO Max, something like that.
Right, but I thought they did something on DAZN as well. But yeah. It's.
Yeah, and some people say, DAZN is free, but it's not free down here. I don't know if it's free up in Canada or not, but I gotta look into more of that. But
it doesn't look like it'll be free for them for sure, or for anybody. In fact, well, we'll get into it with the article, but it seems like I was kind of confused by the press release and by this as far as how we're going to be able to see it in the United States, because there's mentions of YouTube and the Zone, so I'm guessing we'll have to pay for it here too. And I think eventually we're going to say rest in peace to the CFL Plus, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, and I hope the CFL Plus is still around, but who knows? Definitely rest in peace, CBS Sports Network. That's one for thing, you know.
Right. Yeah.
That's I thank CBS Sports Network for showing some of the games, but it was honestly it was a dead deal. You know, like,
yeah, no kidding.
Like whenever, like they'll show everything to the sun until college football season, and when college football season comes, they will just forget about the CFL until the Grey Cup. And some of the stuff, I'm like, all right, why? Like, this is what frustrated me about CFL, like having it on, like they will show in reruns of like what I call like schooners and all that stuff, sailing and poker and I'm like, show the CFL game. It's live, you know. People want to see Winnipeg versus Saskatchewan. People want to watch BC. You can do a doubleheader Friday night, and people can turn it on the CBS Sports Network. But instead, it's showing crap.
Right.
No one watch. And I wrote a letter to CBS Sports Network. I'm like, hey, you gotta fall in America. You gotta fall in up in Canada. You gotta fall in Mexico. People watch this stuff. People enjoy watching Canadian football.
Sure.
And like people enjoy watching alternate style football instead of NFL and college football. And I think doing a disservice of the league if you're showing reruns of stuff no one's watching.
Well, and yeah, we've seen this with other leagues too, like with the UFL. I mean, it's like I think one time I was watching a game like on ESPN, and they had to switch it over to like ESPN News because they had cornhole, you know, and it's like we had to finish it. I mean, it's like I guess some of these things to fill their contracted, like especially with like the Texas Hold'em poker shows, like that World Poker Tour or whatever. I'm not a big fan of that, but it does have. I know that does have a big following, so maybe that's their thing. I don't know.
I remember. Okay, when I had the Grey Cup party, and I kind of wish I was so glad to have the party at Dave and Buster at a public viewing. That was like one of the greatest moments right there.
Nice.
But my worry, my wish list there was having the pregame, like the TSN pregame of the Grey Cup, and they didn't show. They went straight to the game, and like I used to watch it on my Fire Stick. I got TSN. The build up of this is like a Super Bowl. Like you just come in and start at 4 o'clock, and they will tell you the backstories of each team, each players, and you got the old Canada, you got the planes coming down, you got the announcements.
Right.
It's like it's a big deal, and I feel like America should see the pregame and afterwards too. You know.
That's true, and it's like a lot of times. I mean, I don't have access to CBS Sports Network. A lot of the games I see are on CFL Plus, and that's my biggest complaint is you don't see the pregame show from TSN. They'll go right to the game, and you see everything else that they do. Like if they do like halftime, they have the panel talking and stuff like that. But now, one thing about this article, I'm going to go a little further. This was interesting. Now, Bill, you and I have talked about this, and you probably read stuff too, where a lot of season ticket holders are saying, they're changing the rules, I'm not going to this. At first, I thought it was just, people saying, "Get off my lawn and get me some poutine," but no, that's not the case at all. I'm quoting the reporter here. Just moved a little further down. He said, "For thousands of season ticket holders, these changes make some of the league's best and newest stadiums suddenly feel outdated. Mosaic Stadium in Regina and Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg were built with significant taxpayer investment, specifically for the traditional CFL game. Seats at the goal line or at points along the end zones will be farther away from the action beginning in 2027. Hamilton Stadium opened in 2014, and I've sat close to the field years ago near the back corner of the end zone in that venue, and it already felt far away from the action. But it was acceptable. Now there will be an extra 10 yards of empty space in that area, and the goal line will be 5 yards further away. The shortening of the field makes the funding of the best stadiums specifically built for the CFL feel like the CFL no longer fits in them." And that's a good point. I mean, you're paying for like the 55-yard line seats right now, and then they shorten the field and move them away, it'll be a little. And plus, if you're in the lower bowl and you're behind the sidelines, behind the players' benches and stuff. You and I have seen this in NFL games. A lot of times, if you're down that close, you can't see because you have, 6'8" linebacker and nose tackle standing, with their helmets waiting for, to get the ball or for them to come on the field or whatever. So you're going to have that in the CFL. I mean, in Toronto, Kim and I had end zone seats at, and you've seen that stadium on TV. There's only one section of end zone seats. But everything was, the goalpost was farther and we could see everything. And we had decent seats. I think if we went to that stadium now in those same seats, might be a little more difficult, but, Yeah, but that's a good point, though. You're paying for season tickets, and granted, I don't know how much season tickets are. I know what individual seats are because I bought them, and they are very affordable. They're a lot cheaper than the NFL. They're close to, like, UFL prices, to tell you the truth. But still, if you're paying, if it's like what my dad and I did, where it was like $100 a seat times 10 because they make you pay for those crappy preseason games, you're talking about $2,000 right there. And then, that's just for the tickets. That's not counting parking. That's not counting any food or beverage or anything else. And if you have these people who've been, I don't know, you have some guy in Saskatchewan who's been a season ticket holder for 15 years, and then all of a sudden they change this, and pardon my language. Yeah. You can't. I'll edit that out. Well, it's like I can't see what's on the field now. I'm paying all this money for it. I am paying for premium stuff. So yeah. Luckily we're not. This is why we aren't on over-air terrestrial radio, folks. I'd probably be out of a job by now if it did. But luckily Phil and I own this station, so there we go.
Yeah, this is why, like, I used to be a season ticket to a Steeler game and it costs way too much. Like, it costs way too much. It's like the common person. It usually be tickets for like affordable for you, me, and the common man. And the fact is now you got seating license and all this stuff. Now you got parking costs more than the ticket.
Oh, sure.
And now you got these rule changes, and basically I'm hearing other people that the people say it's going to be more further. People who sit front row going to be the seats going to be the field going to be more further than them. Like, this is like, what are you going to do? You going to put more seats in the front, or what's going on? Like, and then my other thing is this rule that you pushing back. Like, is every high school kid in Canada, every junior college down there in Canada, are you going to push the field goal back, or are you going to make it 100 yards or stuff like that? Like, You got pretty much got to retrain the rules of every person who played the game up there, and you want them to do it in a span of months.
Right.
And I get it. I get it. The owners agree on it. The players, the owners agree on this deal. But basically, I understand some of the stuff is the pros and cons of the end zone in the front, and the pros and cons of the 20-yard end zone and stuff like that. But honestly, why shorten the field? Like, what's your end game? Like we tried the American approach for Canadian football, and only 2 out of the 8 teams in America succeed. The rest of the team made your product almost folded and almost went to the ground, because you cannot buy in CFL in America. We will watch it, but I guarantee the people will not go to the games.
Right.
And I hate to say it like that, because people was baseball fans, people were basketball fans, people were hockey fans, and guess what? When football season comes, it's in the back burner, because there's college football fans, there's high school football fans, and there's NFL football fans. That will come. Hell, it'll be. I hate to say, say you have a team in St. Louis, you have a team in Portland, you have a team in Birmingham and stuff like that. That will go to the back burner, because it's a college-driven and NFL and soccer-driven cities. And the Canadian, the thing is, I don't like the fact the commissioner is. They did not ask the people. They didn't have a consumer. They didn't have a poll. They didn't talk to the people like, hey, what can we do to make this league better? And basically, they just did not went to assumption, and they just went, what? Oh, I think this is a good idea. We telling you what's the good ideas. I know people in Canada tell me what's a good idea about how to make this league better. They don't have no local. Yeah, we got TV deal. Yeah, we got streaming deal. Yeah, we got $500 million in the league. Congratulations on that. But how are you going to make more eyes of the Canadian consumer? You got local TV deals? Do you got any free streaming up in Canada? I know they got the Bell Media, and I know they got all the little avenues. But what more eyeballs you can have in Canada? That's what it's all about, Nick.
Well, it's
we're secondary.
Yeah, it's one thing this article says. I'm not going to go into it because he goes into details about Canadian politics and all that. But basically, he's saying that the CFL is selling out its identity, and he said the biggest appeal about the CFL is its unique rules, and that is Canadian. A lot of people feel like they're selling out a lot of things to the U.S., and they're going to eventually make CFL into like a NFL Canada, kind of like the World League of American Football. We'll get like the Frankfurt Galaxy coming over and playing the Argos or something. I don't know, but it's
the Montreal Machine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that too. Yeah, but but yeah, it's a lot of people. They say they're worried about the economics, and one thing about sports, it's a diversion for people. And I read a quote the other day from Nelson Mandela about saying how sports unites people more than anything. I agree with that. I mean, you have a lot of people, like within our cities, I mean, there are a lot of people that might disagree on other topics, but here, they rally around the Ravens. Your town, they rally around the Steelers,
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, this, basically, what they need to do is go back to the roots. And they need to, basically, CFL is all about community, with a national pride, and basically Canada. And basically they do by their own rules. And I feel like this commissioner and a group of owners, I think they have concepts of plans, but they don't know how to see that plan. Like I say, I tell you what the plan is you got to get in touch with the Canadian people. And you need to get in touch with Canadian people. You need to sometimes you need to look at the history to solve your problems now. Like, look at the history. Look at the Grey Cups back then. Look at the reason why there's 50,000 people to see the Grey Cup. Why an old Commonwealth Stadium was like 75,000 seats filled to the rafter on a regular season game because Warren Moon was kicking butt. You got to ask that question. You got to ask why. How can we get back to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of tradition in this league. It goes back to being a rugby league, for over 100 years. But
yeah,
so
yeah, so that's the that's the theory on that. And I tell you what, man, I no matter what, I'm gonna watch CFL. It's just disheartening to see what's going on,
Yeah, so will I. And I think a lot of this is too, Phil, based on this article and other things I've read. It's even lists in the article of short-term revenue fix. It kind of remind me of somebody who's broke and is like, I don't know, pawning off all their stuff just to pay bills or whatever. And I think they're not taking the fans into consideration. They're thinking more of, okay, we got to keep this league from going bankrupt. So I think they think with this TV deal that might help them in the short term. These rules that they've come up with that we discussed last week, they're not, they think that's going to help with the scoring and stuff, which you and a lot of our viewers, our listeners, and fans of the CFL disagree on, but, we'll see what happens with that.
It's like this. I know you're a professional wrestling fan like me. I remember one time Impact Wrestling, TNA. TNA got a unique style of wrestling. They have a six-sided ring. And, six-sided ring. They had everything going. They have like the future stars like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, and maybe I throw a Tinker and old WWE guys in there. But the product is fresh. Then suddenly you got the people who don't know anything about wrestling. They want to bring people in like Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff, and everyone will get excited. Everyone's all happy about Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff is going to come and try to start a Monday Night Wars Part 2. But guess what? He made a war. Nobody watched it because they sold their soul. And guess what? The six-sided ring, it became a four-sided standard ring because they want to be like the WWE. They want to be like the other wrestling thing. And guess what? It took me 15 years to watch TNA again when they brought back a six-sided ring. And they almost went bankrupt. And they almost had to go, they almost had no TNA. So I know people don't watch wrestling and all that. What I'm trying to say is get what you got there, how you get there by your own way, not what other ways works.
Right. Use your own rules, use your own identity, sell it as an alternative, not, because, you have that in other entertainment too. You have, like, other types of music where it's like, okay, you might like rock, but you might want punk or thrash metal or whatever. You might like R&B, but you might like, I don't know, mumble rap, There's genres upon sub-genres, where you're not going to say, okay, this one's better than the other. It's just like, okay, this is what we have to offer. It's different. You try it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like the CFL, because it's a ball way to play football, and a lot of people don't believe me or not. They the ones started it.
Right.
Yeah, so
I know, and people dismiss it as kind of like the UFL or arena football or minor version of it, but it's it's a league with, like we said, with a lot of tradition and stuff. And
for sure.
Yeah, definitely, we think it deserves more eyeballs.